a good question,
Sure.
so I'd like to.
I understand the question. One, we're going to just work this out.
I mean, how we can answer that because, go ahead, try.
You know, our lawyer told us, we've asked, and our lawyer told us 80% of the people in the community have to vote to change that policy.
And that was part of my question. We can have a
Oh.
judge intervene.
Okay, wait a second, it's not a discussion, and really, the answer is, the question that I said.
My question is for them, because
Can
they're on the
they
board.
reset-
I want to know whether or not they
Can
withdraw.
I just condense it in a real simple form? Does the board want to try to recess and try to go back out and
So will they,
get
if next
the
week we
form?
don't have a quorum,
Okay.
will they, not can they, will they?
Okay. And then I'd like to actually, at the end, have Dan explain how difficult it is to get the judge to overrule the bylaws. Okay, because because you know, now that we have free legal advice, I'm sorry. So much for paying for it. No, I know. So,
But we have an attorney, so at least we trust, because if he doesn't try, why do we have?
okay. So,
You want me to answer the second part first?
yeah.
Okay.
That actually, I think
Again,
everybody needs to
Again,
understand.
I'm not an HOA lawyer, but I litigate against and with HOA, so I'm generally familiar. What it comes down to is when you want to change bylaws, you have to look at the documents, and you can only really change the bylaws in conformity with how the bylaws say they need to be changed. If that's not the case, then it's very, very difficult to get a judge to basically substitute his mind for what the board is thinking when they pass those bylaws. So it's very difficult and it's expensive. But, you know, it can be done, but it's very difficult.
And let me comment on that too, on quorum requirements. Your quorum requirement is 20%.
30.
The statute is actually right in there. They actually reduced it from 50 to 30 quite a few years ago because no one got quorum. And that was the Florida legislature. But I do want you to understand, going to the judge and saying we don't like it, we can't get it, I understand your position.
That was the second part of my question. The first part is if a week from now we
Will
don't have,
they
will they
recess the meeting and attempt to go out and get more proxies?
I would say no, because again, we had the conversation about wasting money, and you know, there's been questions about wasting money on attorneys for whatever reason, and you know, it's again.
No,
I have a question.
As
a board member, I have a question. Can we adjourn the meeting legally? If we don't have a quorum, can we do it legally?
You can recess the meeting.
Won't we be going against the laws?
No.
There is a way to do it. You recess, send out proxies again, and try to gather more proxies. Okay.
Which is why you need to advertise the meeting.
Right.
The annual meeting.
Okay. Wanda, did you want to weigh in?
I would say no, I would not adjourn it. I would definitely want to get it over with, get it done with, and if we don't have a quorum, we appoint, you know, the top 3 best candidates.
Okay, next question comes from Dawn. Dawn?
Well, the person I wanted to ask the question isn't here, so I'm going to move on to another one that I thought was interesting. John, this one's for you. On your letter, you have stated, make better use of our reserve that will be useful to homeowners. As you know, you do come to the meetings. The current board had a full reserve study done. And the reserves are set pursuant to that study. And the reserves are set for items based on wear and tear and life expectancy. So there are specific reserves for specific items. And also pursuant to Florida's 720 law, the reserves put in place by the builder are specific to only those items. Those can't be changed. So I don't understand what you mean by make better use of reserves that would be used for the homeowners.
Well, we currently have around $2 million that
That's
are
incorrect. Not in reserve, that's incorrect.
not in reserve, but in money that is
Well, I was
aside.
talking about reserve, you specifically said reserve.
Well, we can think on the word, but the association has around $2 million. That is,
There's operating funds and there's reserve.
no dialogue.
Okay, let him attempt to answer.
money into a CD that's similar to reserve. That's money that belongs to the homeowner. We're a non-profit organization, so we're not allowed to keep an excess amount of money that could be used for to redistribute to the homeowner or to be used to do something.
So you
with
want to
it.
take the
And
reserve money and reimburse it back to the homeowners, which really would be.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, well, that's what you just said, because that,
No.
okay.
It can be used on, it could be a better use, and I think that to do that, we would have to have a survey going through our homeowner and ask them, what do you think about such and such solution, before you do any move in that.
Now, the board is in
Okay,
place.
so let me just
So-
comment, and I'm not an attorney,
Yeah.
I'm not practicing law, but so everybody, if it is a statutory reserve, the board really doesn't have the ability to use those funds unless it's for that designated line item. I would recommend to any board that if they want to use reserve items as they are not designated, by statute, it takes 50% of the entire community to reach in there and use those reserves. Other, I think, retained earnings and some others that you may have for cash flow is within the authority of the board, but the board needs to understand the cash flow obligations of the association. So I understood your answer, I understood the question. I think we're ready to go on to the next question. Next question here. Tim, you have the next one.
Pay us. Public records show that you owed the homeowners of Palm Beach Plantation well over $20,000. Everyone has fallen on hard times on occasion. Other homeowners were responsible enough to set up a payment plan. You got the courts to discharge your debt. Now my question is, why should anyone vote for you to manage the HOA's finances for 599 other homeowners when you can't seem to manage your own? And have no consider for others in the community.
Would you consider that a little combative?
I would say you can answer it. I don't think it's on slander, but but it probably is fact. Okay, do you want to answer the
Is
question?
it not factual?
It is public record.
Well, I declared bankruptcy because my situation has changed. Like anyone that owes $1.5 million and no longer has that kind of income, I declared bankruptcy and that was included. And I believe I'm entitled to a fresh start. Now, you can't look at that end by saying I owed the HOA without looking at the other end, in which there was an outstanding equity position that I had of over $200,000. So if you want to get into all of it, we can do that privately. I don't believe this is the forum for that.
Okay, thank you. The next question was Nancy Manor? Mansor, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Steve, you do it every time, sorry, it's funny every year.
I do, I'm consistent.
My question is for Brian. Brian, in your letter, you said that you'd like to see the website be more useful. And actually, you have a number of suggestions as did other people. I wanted to know if you have the time dedicated to make those changes, because that is an extremely time-consuming task to take on. Is that something you're taking on personally?
Well, I'm not an IT person, so no, I wouldn't even know how to do it. Well, I mean, there's companies that you get.
It's somebody who's on the board that's been doing it. So is somebody going to pick it up and do it then?
Well, that would be for the new board to figure out if they, and then find somebody either to volunteer or pay somebody to do it.
I just think it's easy to make suggestions.
Right. Yeah. The next question is from Bridget.
Don't even bother talking.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. For those of you that are not currently on the board, have any of you at least dedicated some time to come to 8 or more HOA meetings, or been on any committees, or done help with any projects, special projects for the community? I'm on the list.
I participated at the beginning to the security meeting, but when I came back, my name wasn't on the list anymore. But as in my life, I've been creating a homeowner association.
I mean, for this
For
specific.
this community, I haven't participated on that, except.
And I think you're saying you have. I'm just working down. Dan, you're next.
I've only come to a couple of board meetings. I had not participated in the landscaping meetings, but I started coming to the board meetings because I was concerned about the landscaping issue, and I learned that the landscaping contract was going to be talked about and potentially renewed. So I got involved. So that's what I'm going to do if I get elected, is I'm going to be here every week, watching what's going on, paying attention. So.
Okay,
I started attending board meetings after I found out that one of the homeowners got assaulted by a board member, and that's when I started attending board meetings. And I just see what's going on, and I find it exceptionally frustrating and exclusatory to have a issue presented, not have any documents available to me, and then voted on without even a conversation. So the minute they vote and then open the floor, no matter what it is, it's an argument. And I don't, I'm sorry?
have you volunteered on any committees or?
I have not volunteered for that very reason.
All right, thank you.
And no, I haven't. This is the first time, just because I want to see a change in the community. That's why I'm getting involved now.
Okay, we have actually gone through everyone who has asked questions. Do we want to open it up, or we want to, actually, why don't we do this? Because before we turn, just, okay. Oh, you're right. Barry.
Yes. And I'm sorry, what was your name? Again? You.
Me, Cass?
Guy or girl? No, you. Myself? KS. Okay. That's for KS.
Oh, yes.
You had said earlier that you felt the entire board needed to be removed. Is that a personal feeling, or is that an opinion of yours because you see incompetency across the board? Is there anything that the current board has done well in your eyes? Why would you make that statement? I'm just curious.
Okay. I personally don't really know anybody personally on the board. I do know that they've devoted an incredible amount of time, have put in an incredible amount of energy, and absolutely deserve accolades for everything that they've done. However, running a $2 million corporation and running a corporation that's for profit in the, I don't know, maybe $200,000 range versus a $2 million nonprofit organization is very different. And based on my review, I do not believe that they hold the necessary skills, knowledge, and abilities to manage a $2 million not-for-profit corporation. That's where I'm coming from.
So when you say they and you say that fact, you're saying basically incompetency versus anything personal.
Correct.
Okay. And the speed bumps, I mean, you
That's
find them annoying? Like,
I find that it knocks a lot of people's cars out of alignment, no matter how slow you go, or if you don't see them at night, or if you're doing, I don't know, 35, and it depends on your vehicle. If you have a low-riding vehicle, you're out in the shop.
okay.
That's
I don't
my
know if
personal feeling.
there's a certain code that they need to be installed by. I'm going to go ahead and assume they were installed per code, but I mean, do you know why you're really here?
Well, I would imagine they're here to slow people down.
Right.
Basic driveway, something like
Right.
that.
And
For
this,
safety.
in my opinion, I'm going to say this is not an active adult community. This is a community where there's a lot of children.
I agree.
And I happen to have children that play out front, etc.
Do
I'm
they play
for
on
the
Main
speed
Street?
bumps remaining where they're at. I'm just
Okay.
saying, because I was curious when you said you wanted them removed. I just wanted to make sure you understood why they're actually there.
I have no problem with something, but these, I have a problem with.
All right. Before I recognize, when I recognize if you would stand up, state your name and address for the record, and then ask your question, and then we'll let this go for a little while, and then we'll cut it short. I know there were 2 hands. Hold on. I'll try to get. I'll work this one. Okay.
May I request that you write down your address and then So we have a record?
Actually, are you taking notes? So what they're asking is their name and address be taken down for the record. I'm sorry, you're next.
My name is Dale Lauterbach. Oh, sorry. My name is Dale Lauterbach, and I reside at 788 Belgrove Lane.
Thank
And
you.
my question is directed to Zach. I have problems with people that doesn't know or respect the law. I've been living in this community for 4 years, and 2 years of it, this guy does not know how to respect property line. The association has violated this guy so much. You know, he should notice to take off the constructions that was placed on my property line. And also the county is currently finding you for those constructions that you place, and you still don't recognize it. This is my problem.
What is the
My
question?
problem is,
Question.
you don't know, do you know how to follow simple rules, or do you know how to respect people's property line? Because I am not a good neighbor of yours right now.
Okay. And again, this should be community-wide question, but it was a question. And did you,
Integrity matters.
a simple reply?
No.
Okay.
Are you currently being
All
fined
right.
by the
There
county?
was the young lady that has the wristband. Just please state your name and address.
Please, let him answer the question.
He said he didn't want to.
He didn't want to, because clearly
Okay, that was his
it is
answer.
a violation. I have all evidence that you are not qualified to be in this.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Teresa Sands. I live at 930 Plantation State Drive. This isn't really a question, but from what I've been listening to, these aren't questions that everybody's asking. It's almost as if it's an attack on everybody up there. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking in general. These really don't sound like questions. They sound more like an attack on these people that are actually trying to run for the board. And it's kind of sad. I mean, I'm waiting to hear a question.
The purpose of this meeting is kind of, the purpose of the meeting, in my mind, is sort of meet and greet, and for you to make a decision as to whom best will lead your community. And it is a $2 million business. Either not-for-profit or profit, it's a business. And I'm going to tell you, you have to try to make as many people as happy as possible, but live within the financial constraints of the association. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start working. This gentleman's had his hand up. So I'll work back. And so if you want to know, the question should be, you as a candidate, what is your position on trying to help our community and us as a whole? Okay, the gentleman with a piece of paper in the hand.
Thank you, sir. It appears as if...
No, your name?
Laston Ford at 61 Mulberry Grove Road.
Thank you.
It appears as if we are here for combat, more adversarial. Right, Mr. Lawyer? It appears. But my question is, I need two people, two board members, aspiring board members to answer this question. What creative idea do you have that can offer, that can collaborate and work with other board members to solve two problems that you have identified? Two problems, and you have two creative ideas that haven't been tried yet that can solve the problem that we have. Two members who can volunteer to answer.
I would like to possibly figure something out of the back gate for tailgating. I would like, we talked about putting a guard at the back gate.